Hey, how's it going, guys? Jack and Matt here with the Toasty Bros, and today we're going to be doing an $850 gaming PC brought to you by Antec.
And as we mentioned, big thanks to Antec for basically sponsoring this PC build. They have come in and helped us out with a couple of PC builds for the next couple of months, so stay tuned to see some other builds featuring Antec products. But they've been nice enough to send over their power supply and case, which we'll be talking about later when we go over each individual part. But thanks again to Antec. Check the links in the description down below if you're interested in buying any products from Antec. And yeah, they're the sponsor of this build. So how about we go ahead and talk more about it.
So we're really excited because this is the first build we're getting to use the 5600 XT. We're really excited to be able to finally put this thing to the test. We got one of the thick cards too.
Extra thick.
Yeah, we haven't used really XFX in a long time. So excited to see how far they've come, especially since they have the cheapest ones right now too.
So how about we go ahead and talk about each individual part and how it makes up this $850 gaming PC.
So you guys have seen us use this processor quite a few times. This is the AMD Ryzen 5 3600. It's just such a good processor, 6-core, 12-thread, and it is one of the best processors that you can get for the money as far as gaming goes. Of course, we had to go with the full-size motherboard for this. So this is an Asus Prime B450 Plus. It's an all-black motherboard with some nice white accents on it. It does actually have some LEDs going along there. It's a really good-looking board, honestly. It's under $100, which is really essential for us trying to keep this, a little bit budget-friendly, and we didn't need anything crazy like X570 or anything like that, so B450 will do the job. For the RAM kit, we went with Corsair. This is two 8GB sticks, so 16 gigs. Corsair Vengeance LPX is 3000 megahertz, so really decent speed, and honestly, you know how AMD likes that good dual channel, fast memory, so this will be plenty for this build, and as far as the $850 budget, it fits within that range really well. You guys know we like to keep cable management at a maximum, so this is the Western Digital Blue M.2 SSD. This is a 500 gig one, so it's plenty of storage where you don't need to really add a secondary drive unless you're, putting all kinds of things in your computer. This will be plenty for us to start with. They're cheap still, which is good because the 2.5-inch drive is actually going up, but the M.2 so far is staying pretty cheap.
So as we mentioned at the beginning, this is our first time trying the 5600 XT from AMD, and this is the XFX version, which is thick with 2 C's. This thing is going to be a really awesome card for 1080p high refresh rate and also 1440p if you want to. Kind of is in that range of like a 1660 Super, a little bit better than that card actually, coming in at a great price point. It's going to be really nice to see how this thing performs and see if it's one we can recommend for future builds, but I think it's going to do pretty well. Very excited to test it out. So this right here is the power supply that Antec sent over. This is the Neo Eco Gold Zen power supply. It is 700 watts, which is more than enough for this PC build. Actually, probably more than you actually need. But we wanted to showcase this power supply in this build. 80 plus gold efficiency. It's always nice to have in a high-end build because you know you're going to get the utmost of quality. This is a really well-built power supply from what I've seen so far, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. So that's something to consider if you are looking to buy a power supply. It could last for multiple systems in the future. So that's all about saving that money. So yeah, this is going to be a great power supply for the build. Now for the case, which Antec is known for. This is the P82 Flow case, which actually comes, I don't know if Jackson can show this, 3 fans in the front, 1 in the back already. We are going to be adding some lights to it in the future. I'll talk about it in a second, but this is a really nice case, having that tempered glass side panel and decent airflow up front. You don't really see many cases like this on the market, but it does have good ventilation and should perform very well, especially with those installed fans. And speaking of lighting, we're not going to go anything crazy and add a bunch of new RGB fans because these are good fans that are already in it. We're going to be adding just a basic RGB strip, setting it to probably white or maybe RGB mode because you never know with these cheap RGB strips if it's actually going to work really well. And we're just going to see how it turns out, but very excited to put this very clean and kind of minimal PC build together and see how it performs. So how do we do that? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now that we have this PC all put together, let's talk about those benchmarks real quick. Now, I do want to apologize. For some reason, the AMD built-in recorder was having issues getting a quality recording, so the quality of this recording might not look as good and there might be some frame rate issues, but if you can see in the top left corner, there is an actual frame rate there of what the PC is actually running at. So just know that this PC actually performed very well. We tested it in Modern Warfare, Overwatch, and Fortnite. In all of those scenarios, we were getting well over 100 plus FPS. The 5600 XT is definitely no slouch. Coming in at a very competitive price point, it's definitely something to consider if you're looking to get a card and you don't want to opt for something like the 2060 Super. The 5600 XT might be a decent option for you. Now, you are losing out on a couple of features that NVIDIA offers, like the NVENC encoder and things like that are really beneficial if you're looking to get into live streaming. But if you do get this thing a little bit cheaper than a 2060 Super on some sort of discount or rebate, you might be saving a good amount of money and would end up being a smarter investment if you don't need those features like NVENC or anything else like that. Another thing to note is that the Ryzen 5 3600 is still a great processor for gaming, guys. If you are not looking to do live streaming or anything content creation focused, then the 3600 would be a no-brainer for systems all the way up to, in my opinion, a 2070 Super or even a 2080 if you really wanted to. This thing is a great option, and honestly, there's really no reason to go Intel right now. I know a lot of you have been asking if we are ever going to consider doing Intel builds in the future, and right now, as you can see through the performance, the 3600 is just such a good value at around $170 with some recent price cuts that AMD has delivered, and with new processors coming from AMD in the near future, and an overall really clean aesthetic that is not too RGB for the non-RGB crowd out there. Honestly, this is a very great pairing, and I highly suggest you consider it if you're looking to build your next gaming PC. So how about we go ahead and bring Jackson back in so we can wrap this video up real quick.
So it had been a while since we get to do like an all AMD system here, and as you could tell, the 5600 XT paired with the Ryzen processor did pretty well, and it's pretty exciting to see that it's about 2060 level.
Now, you could go with the 2060 if you prefer things like the NVENC encoder, because they did drop the MSRP down to about $300 for all 2060s, but we noticed it's kind of hard to get your hands on one. So if you're just looking for a really good gaming GPU, the 5600 XT is a great option. And we also have to mention, and thanks again to Antec for sending over this beautiful case and power supply combo. This thing is actually really nice. Adding that white LED strip adds a lot of flair to this. You could always go RGB if you wanted to RGB it up and it would work pretty well, but all the included fans provide really good cooling for this system, and the power supply is more than enough wattage for upgradability in the future. So if you are interested in purchasing any of the parts from this build, link in the description down below. They are affiliate links and they do help to support us. And special thanks again to Antec for sponsoring this PC build, and stay tuned for the next couple of months. We will have more PC builds featuring Antec products because they've been so nice to help us out.
So we appreciate you guys watching today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Peace out.